Dr. Reddy, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank the Consulate General of India in San Francisco for the kind invitation. We are working closely with the Indian government to ensure a successful AI Impact Summit that builds on the achievements of Bletchley Park, Seoul, and Paris. The United Nations is committed to translating the title of this panel, AI for All, into reality. Promoting AI for humanity and creating global spaces for dialogue on how AI is governed has been at the core of the Secretary General's agenda. Already in 2020, in his roadmap for digital cooperation, he noted the lack of representation and inclusiveness in global discussions where developing countries are largely absent or not well represented in the most prominent forums on AI. In his roadmap, he also called for the establishment of a high-level body on global cooperation on artificial intelligence. 5 years later, we are on the eve of the first AI summit hosted by a developing country. Last year, the Global Digital Compact, adopted by consensus by world leaders, marked the first universal agreement on AI governance. In August this year, the United Nations General Assembly followed up on the commitment of the Compact and established, by consensus, the Independent International Scientific Panel on Artificial Intelligence and the Global Dialogue on Artificial Intelligence Governance. Ladies and gentlemen, as AI has accelerated, so has multilateralism. The lessons from previous technological waves and transboundary phenomena, from nuclear energy to pandemics to social media, all pointed us to the same conclusion. The benefits from AI are potentially too transformative and its risks too far-reaching to postpone international cooperation. As you know, the upcoming summit in Delhi will be an impact summit, guided by the theme of people, planet, and progress. This vision is aligned with the global AI ecosystem that the UN and its member states are developing. A system that rests on three fundamental pillars: science, policy, and capacity. The UN AI Independent International Scientific Panel will be at the forefront of the first pillar. 40 independent experts, selected from over 2,500 applicants, will provide impartial and evidence-based advice to help governments and stakeholders navigate rapid AI developments. The Secretary General will soon recommend its members, who will be then selected by the General Assembly to serve on the panel. The panel will act as an early warning and knowledge platform, ensuring policy making is grounded in science, not speculation. I encourage all of you to follow the panel and engage with its experts when it is established. The Bay Area's incredible pool of international talent, from researchers in Stanford and Berkeley to startups in big tech, can provide great insights for the panel's work. The second pillar for us at the UN is policy. The Global Dialogue on AI Governance will provide a platform for governments and all stakeholders to align approaches, share best practices, and build trust and interoperability across borders. It will address the representation gap I mentioned earlier and build on the experiences of regional and international summits such as the AI Summit on Africa and the upcoming Impact Summit in India. It will ensure that AI governance reflects global diversity, not just a handful of voices. The first global dialogue will take place in Geneva within the UN next July. The permanent representatives of El Salvador and Estonia to the United Nations in New York have been appointed as co-chairs, and they'll help identify the relevant issues for the dialogue. I'm confident that the AI Impact Summit will provide a great source of expertise and deliverables for the first dialogue. I urge you to engage with the co-chairs and with the United Nations on this issue. The third pillar is capacity. The development of minimum AI capacities in all countries is not a nice to have. As for electricity and connectivity, it may and will become a key factor for economic growth and sustainable development. In short, at the AI banquet, everyone needs a seat at the table. But everyone needs a meal as well. This is why this July, as requested by member states in the Global Digital Compact, the Secretary General presented his report on innovative financing options for AI capacity building. The report sets out practical pathways to narrow the AI divide in computing power, data, research, education, training, and safety standards. First, it suggests the launch of a global fund supported by international financial institutions to help put a floor under the AI divide. The fund would strengthen existing development cooperation and trade initiatives and create incentives for additional private investments. It would focus on using financing to help ensure that a minimum capacity can be created in countries in different regions to adapt and build models for local needs and join international collaborative efforts on AI. Second, it put forward the idea of a capacity development network, which would facilitate coordination and the availability of in-kind contributions from universities, corporations, member states, and other relevant actors. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that the AI Impact Summit will be a crucial platform for accelerating progress on several of these initiatives. I encourage the Indian organizers and hosts to make sure that the voices of research, the private sector, and civil society play a prominent role throughout the summit. The UN stands ready to engage with all of you, and I look forward to seeing you in Delhi. Thank you.
It's